Good morning. I'm Julie Hindall, Director of Talent Development at JAXUSA Partnership, and on behalf of CareerSource Northeast Florida, the Jacksonville Transportation Authority, and the partnership, I welcome you to today's Advanced Transportation and Logistics Workforce Briefing. We do have a fantastic lineup for you this morning. Without further ado, I would like to introduce you to our welcome presenter from JTA, David Cawton. David is the Director of Communications at JTA, and he's a graduate of Jacksonville University. He holds a Master of Science in Interactive Media from Quinnipiac University. In his role at JTA, David oversees internal and external communications, social media, media relations, crisis communication, and content development. David is a Jacksonville native and a former journalist. David, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much, Julie, and good morning to everybody on the panel and everyone viewing at home today. On behalf of the JTA, I'd like to thank your audience for taking an interest in this important topic. I think you're going to be very satisfied by the depth of today's conversation. My colleague, Mary Smith, our Director of Human Resources, is here today to help us with that panel, and we'll share a lot of the opportunities that are out there in the transportation and logistics fields. Before I get to that, though, I want to refresh everybody's memory about what we do at the JTA and really where we've come from. And that'll be the next slide. The JTA was actually founded as the Jacksonville Expressway Authority in the 1950s. We built many of the highways and transportation infrastructure in Duval County. And as I'll touch on in just a bit, that's still part of our DNA today. We actually didn't assume the operation of public transportation in Jacksonville until 1971, and that's when we became the Jacksonville Transportation Authority. Our role in this community has grown significantly from only serving Duval County to what is now really a regional portfolio of services that spans more than 1,000 square miles. That's because we provide some level of service in Baker, Clay, Nassau, and St. Johns counties. And here back in Jacksonville, in addition to our regular bus routes, we also provide services for our special needs community. We operate the St. Johns River Ferry. We have different partnerships with like Beachside Buggy and Go Tuckin. We operate Ready Ride, which is a neighborhood shuttle service. We obviously operate the Skyway and soon the Ultimate Urban Circulator and the 57-mile First Coast Flyer bus rapid transit network. But I want to talk to you about some of our alternative mobility solutions. Over the past decade, we've invested heavily in these solutions. That's because a 40-foot bus is not always the best option for your neighborhood. It's just not going to be appropriate for smaller streets or neighborhoods, and people's transportation patterns are different. Nat Ford, our CEO, his view has always been to embrace mobility, and sometimes that means partnerships with the private sector. That begins with Ready Ride, which now operates in 13 neighborhood zones, and in June will actually grow to 15 neighborhood zones with 174 miles of coverage. This is an on-demand option very similar to Uber and Lyft that provides point-to-point travel anywhere within that unique neighborhood zone. Again, places a 40-foot bus isn't going to reach. In addition, we have both in Jacksonville's beaches areas and in downtown Jacksonville, we've replaced some outdated or underutilized services by sponsoring locally owned providers. We began a partnership with Beach Buggy in 2017. They're a service that operates in Jacksonville's beaches and in San Marco. You call them with an app and they'll take you anywhere. They'll take you anywhere within that area. It's allowed them to expand as a small business as well. We also have Go Tuckin, which is another locally owned, woman-owned business that operates in downtown Jacksonville and in the surrounding La Villa, Brooklyn, Riverside, Avondale areas. They're a great partner that we have, and I also extend that to Beach Buggy and Ready Ride. As I mentioned earlier, our reach has grown into the surrounding counties, and that really includes Clay County. In 2019, we became the Community Transportation Coordinator. That's a fancy way of saying we operate their public transportation. We serve the special needs community with what's called paratransit service, and we also restored a lot of the historic bus lines that connect to key areas, especially in some of the rural areas. We now operate 4 routes with CCT. For example, the green line, which is pictured here below, was developed to help veterans get to the VA clinic in Middleburg, and also to help seniors get to other important services. We feel that as Clay County grows, so will our footprint there, and we are very thankful for the partnership we have in Clay County. Another ambitious project we've launched in the last few years is our Express Select service for commuters. Jacksonville is the economic powerhouse of the region, but we know a lot of its employees live outside and surrounding counties. So we saw the need for a commuter-like service for people who work in downtown but live outside of Jacksonville. We launched our first route in Nassau County, very successful. It comes from Yulee and then into the downtown Jacksonville area. And following a slight delay after COVID-19, we launched the Express Select services both in St. Johns County and in Clay County. These are great services, and we feel they'll grow as we grow as well. We also operate the First Coast Flyer. This is a 57-mile bus rapid transit network. It's actually the largest in the Southeast. These are the green and blue buses you'll see on the road. The biggest difference here is, unlike a regular bus route, the First Coast Flyer averages about 12 to 15 stops. Normal bus route can have 30 or even more bus stops, and the First Coast Flyer has more frequent service. We've strategically planned these routes to follow the busiest mobility corridors in Jacksonville. And as we get back to more of our pre-pandemic service levels, you'll see a much larger increase in ridership with these routes. All of these services, including the Flyers, converge at the Jacksonville Regional Transportation Center at La Villa. We call it the JRTC. It's our multimodal hub, and it's our administrative headquarters. If you have not had the chance to tour the building, please reach out to me. We would love to give you a tour. It's beautiful inside and out. It's also the first time customers in Jacksonville can connect from their local services to Greyhound or Megabus. Greyhound is literally right across the street from us, and we've built a pedestrian bridge so you can get there safely and continue your journey outside of Jacksonville. We opened this facility in May 2020. It's home to about 200 of our administrative and transportation operations staff. Right now, we're seeing about 8,000 to 10,000 people come through the terminal on any given day, but it's built for the future, and it actually has the capacity to serve about 42,000 customers on any given day. So right now, as we're still in the pandemic, those ridership levels aren't exactly where they were before, but it's built for the future and can handle that influx. It's also home to the Crazy Beans Cafe, which is a coffee shop on the first floor. And then on Fridays, we host a organic farm, the Abundant Harvest fresh produce market on Fridays. Definitely come check that out if you haven't seen that. In addition, we've also expanded our services from land to sea. In 2016, we assumed operation of the St. Johns River Ferry. This is a really vital connection for folks who live in North Jacksonville and who want to connect to Mayport or the beaches. It's one of our most popular services, and especially for the military members who serve our nation at NAS Mayport or at the U.S. Coast Guard Station. And we've been really fortunate enough to be able to invest federal dollars into this service to completely revamp the boat, the facilities, both landings. We've secured $25 million in federal grant funding since that time. And so we're very proud of that. In fact, the service is so popular, we're looking to purchase a second vessel, thanks to the extension of the local option gas tax. As I mentioned at the top of my presentation, the JTA has been a road builder since 1955. That work continues today through our Mobility Works program and into the future with a new round of road and transportation projects. We've completed and are completing upwards of $240 million worth of road work. This includes about 24 projects, everything you see on the screen here, more than 25 miles of new sidewalks, and other upgrades. You'll see on the pictures here, these are the projects that we are currently working on and completing. That work is funded through the revenues we receive from the local option gas tax. And as that round of projects begins to sunset, we're getting ready for the next group of projects that's coming up. Actually, a year ago today, on May 25th, 2021, our city council agreed to invest into the future of Jacksonville by expanding and extending the local option gas tax. This will fund $1 billion in new transportation and infrastructure projects. JT is responsible for about half of that work. The city of Jacksonville is responsible for the other half. Our portion of that work includes phase 2 of the Ultimate Urban Circulator, also known as the U2C. We've got a ton of complete street projects, and we're going to upgrade all of our existing bus stations and stops to be ADA accessible. We're also partnering with Groundworks Jacksonville. We're going to help them with several sections of the Emerald Trail. I hope this group is familiar with that really transformative project for our urban core. It's going to be amazing. And finally, before I wrap up my comments and send it off to my colleagues, I want to talk about our other work and the other way that we impact the community, and that's through what's called transit-oriented development, or TOD. TOD is a fancy word for mixed-use, dense developments that are integrated from the start with public transportation. It encourages people to not drive a personal vehicle, and hopefully encourages them to ride public transportation. On the screen here is the KIPP Voice Academy. For about 10 years, that was a vacant, blighted piece of property that the JTA owned. KIPP came to us and had this idea of building a K-8 school there. We said, that's great, but we want to make sure that we integrate our public transportation into that property. And so as you can see, the First Coast Flyer Green Line is actually integrated into that. A lot of students and families rely on the Green Line to get to school. Next year, work will begin on RD South Bank. That's a project that's being developed by Corner Lot Living. That's across the street from Channel 4 and River's Edge, and will connect directly to the JTA's Kings Avenue Skyway Station. We believe the strategic use of our real estate holdings is critical to increase ridership and density in downtown Jacksonville. And that leads us to today's discussion and the many workforce opportunities we have at the JTA. You just heard a lot of what we do, but we need the people to help us in that mission. We have several career paths, whether you want to drive a bus, fix a bus, help us plan for long-term strategies. There's really something for every skill level, whether you're just getting out of high school, whether you have a college degree, a skill set, or not. We'll talk about that today. My colleague, Mary Smith, is fantastic. She's on the line with us as well, and she's going to talk to you about all the opportunities we have. In fact, in some cases, there's financial incentives for coming on board with us, especially for those of you who want to join us on our front lines, maybe as a bus operator. So again, with that, thank you for the opportunity to join today and to step in for our Vice President of Engagement, Rosa Beckett. She wishes she could be here this morning, but she's in good hands here with myself and Mary Smith. Julie, I'll take it back to you.
There's been a great deal of activity in the advanced transportation and logistics space, as you see on your screen. Within the last 2 years alone, these are some announcements and certainly very recognizable companies that have chosen Northeast Florida as a location for expansion and development. Just in 2021, when you look at brands like Kroger with 180 jobs, Amazon with combined projects resulting in 550 jobs, American Roll-On and Roll-Off and Hillman with 50 jobs each, and FedEx with 125 jobs, students or adults in career transition or veterans entering in the workforce here can be sure that there are a multitude of opportunities with these new companies, as well as the many existing companies that are already in the advanced transportation and logistics space right here in Northeast Florida. And certainly this industry provides tremendous economic value to Northeast Florida when you look at the number of jobs and then jobs that result because these types of transportation and logistics jobs are available here in the region. You know, nearly 11,000 maritime jobs alone, resulting in 15,000 additional ancillary jobs in this space. So that ripple effect truly means a great deal of opportunity for individuals seeking roles in advanced transportation and logistics. Right here on the screen, you see that we have in the industry nearly 46,000 regional jobs with an average wage of over $53,000. And there has been a significant employment change in the last 2 years. Of course, you looked at that project list. That alone is a significant driver in this space. But we do know from looking at jobs EQ data that significant positive annual change in employment in the last 10 years has been seen. And certainly we do not anticipate that that momentum will change, which means for your students, there's going to be a great deal of opportunity in transportation and logistics. And you may wonder, where are those careers? Here are some ideas for those that are thinking about the transportation and logistics space, anything from warehousing and storage, trucking, rail transportation, and the jobs that are involved include anything from material handling to truck driving, stocking and order filling, supervisors, shipping and receiving clerks, inventory clerks, but there's also a multitude of other jobs that result as well in human resources, as you know from those on the line, accountants, public relations. So there's just so many additional jobs in this industry, which means it is very exciting and has an amazing opportunity for those interested. We've certainly continued to see major trends. These are the things that we're noting. These technical and soft skills are converging. Individuals need to come to the table with those skills, and I know we'll hear more in our panel discussion about that today, because customer expectations have changed in this space. Customers want feedback and updates on, where their particular package is located. They want those customized service options, and they want more communication, which means transportation and logistics definitely has that customer service aspect as well for those who are interested in using those types of skills. And autonomous vehicles, we're part of that emergence of autonomous vehicles. And that means exciting jobs in the field, transportation managers, first line supervisors, moving machine and vehicle operators, all sorts of opportunity that is going to continue to bloom right here in Northeast Florida as a result of the growth of transportation and logistics. And also, I would be remiss if I did not remind everybody on the call to always share earnup.org with those you're working with, whether that is a student in school or in college, if that is an adult that is reconsidering their career pathway and wants to transition career, or a veteran that's saying, how do I leverage all of the skills that I have as a result of my service? They can connect to EarnUp. We have so much information on our target and support industries here in the region. And certainly today's session will be made available on YouTube, so that will become an additional resource for them.